calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the radio. Turn it up. Turn it up low. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese is on the radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Yeah! Let's go! Looks like the world just got crazy. It's everywhere. Scallywags, nutmeggers, anybody across the fruited plain. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080. Let me just handle a little bit of business here that I'm doing online for, of course, your viewing pleasure. If you wish to watch the program on Facebook or Twitter, X as they call it. But if you are, you can just go to reeseontheradio.com as well, so you can watch the program and come hang out with us. And we do have a guest today, and I'm going to double check just to make sure he's going to be here and on time. A.J. Johnson is going to be here. He is the Reverend A.J. Johnson of the North Hartford Public Safety Coalition. And he held a press conference today on the site of the shooting of Stevie Jones. So I went down there to go see a couple of folks, see who was there, what they were doing, and told Reverend Johnson to come on by the show so we could talk about what he is demanding of the police department, the mayor, the chief, and a whole lot of other things. And to talk about the shooting. He put out a press release and a flyer. We'll go over some questions that I have about that. We are monitoring, of course. As you may have noticed, there wasn't a top of the hour news with John Silva. We had a little system issue. We'll remedy that at the bottom of the hour, so you can get your news from him. We are again monitoring all of these. I guess active shooter situations. One in Minnesota. Another one, someone says, is in Detroit. I think it is Detroit. I think that's the one that we're looking at now. Old Dominion is, from what we can assess, is over. 2 people and the shooter have either been shot or killed. I'll get some information on that. They said it was a third one. I'll get some information on that. If you are watching it, of course, please, just be mindful. I know that this gives people a sort of sense of, looking over their shoulder. What's going on? Is something happening? Should we be concerned? And I got to tell you, I was thinking about this because I saw ABC News reported yesterday, if not the day before, that California is being warned about terrorist cells. And these terrorist cells may act in retaliation to the strikes in Iran. And hey, Peggy. Peggy's an old colleague of mine. Nice to see you, Peggy. And I got to say something about it, and this may be petty, but there's an important thing to note here. I don't want to make this about politics and the whole DHS funding, Department of Homeland Security. I'm not going to make it about that. But I want you to kind of understand something, and it is relevant to this. Why would a terrorist cell go after Virginia or Michigan or California? Why not Texas? Heavily populated, right? Why not? Why not, I don't know, Montana? Why not a place like that? Not that heavily populated, but, let's consider it. They pick places like Chicago, They pick places like New York, Philadelphia. Why do they pick these places? You all know the answer to it. It's real simple. These places are figuratively no-gun zones, so to speak. I thought it was weird that anyone would say, California, watch your back. Iran may be coming to attack you. Now, I'm looking at this on a practical level, but if you are on the left, I want you to listen to what I'm saying to you. The reason why they would attack a place like New York City, the reason why they would attack a place like New Haven, Bridgeport even. Why? Because those locations are a don't ask and don't tell sort of policy where people can roam free to commit all types of crimes. These are places or safe havens for people who wish to do harm, if not to the people who live there, but to people around them. It's a criminal sanctuary. It's a soft target. It just is. It would make me, it's insane that you can see, right, a town. Now, it's not like the terrorist cell doesn't watch television. It's not like the terrorist cell doesn't walk around the neighborhoods in California and see a whole bunch of leftists outside screaming, hands off Iran, under the impression that this curries favor with a terrorist cell. That the terrorist cell would look at those rabble-rousers and say, whatever you do, do not hurt them. They are with us. No. What do? They say, you want to know the perfect place to do the most damage? At a protest that is for us. They are too stupid to know. And the only people who don't know that are the protesters. Why? Cognitive dissonance? Maybe. Sheer stupidity? Quite possible. They are useful idiots. They are. They are the first to go because they're the ones who open the door to the vampire. Come on in, they say. Because this is about them and the way they feel about themselves. I would never, ever be judgmental about an immigrant coming into this country. We should just open up the borders. What about the people who wish to do us harm? There can't be that many. These people are good people. How do you know? Because they're seeking a better life. How do you know? Because they are. You don't think anybody's trying to harm us? Wouldn't it? Let me talk to the rabble-rousing knuckleheads out there. Just think about it. Think about it. So you have a terrorist who already thinks America is bad, evil, and the great Satan. And then you are in the United States saying the same thing. You fight for and harbor said bad guy. Now, your motives may be different than his. His motive is, yes, we will use them. They will protect us. And you, on the other hand, looking at them and going, you sorry soul, come here, come into my bosom. Let me protect you from the evil, bad America. And you guys are partners in insanity. You just are. And then they, of course, roam free in a place where no one's going to touch them. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if a terrorist were to show up with a bunch of bags that had all of his damage-making material in it and was at the airport and you saw him struggling, that one of you bozos would see him and go, Let me help you, you poor soul. You will help me with the bags? Absolutely. I'll take you right to the gate. I'm sorry. This isn't, I know you're saying to yourself, damn, you just crazy, Reese. Come on. Come on. What have we seen so far, folks? What have we seen so far? You can talk these folks into anything. You know, I keep mentioning this BBC article. And this isn't a slight on women. I just want to tell you the level of silliness and craziness that can corrupt the mind of someone who is just eager to help. That's all they want to do is they want to be helpful. They want to feel helpful. They want to brag about how helpful they are. I'm going to look it up during the break. This BBC article was so crazy, folks. It was talking about transgender women in the dating scene on dating apps. And there were women who were going out with transgender women, biological males. And they were going out with them because on the dating app, they didn't want to appear transphobic. And the article tells the story of one woman who felt pressured to sleep with one of them. She was so pressured by her own self-guilt that she didn't want to turn the person. She was trying to be as helpful as possible. And by the end, when she had woken up to what happened to her, she had realized that she was led astray by her own need to be inclusive. She did something that she, in her heart, did not want to do, but she was compelled by her liberalism to hurt. Sorry, why would anybody do that? Compelled to do it. And when I read that, I went, there's no way, but yes, way. It's that kind of world we're in. They are going after California because it's California. They are going into places like Detroit and New York because they can. Because the people who have put some of these very, very naive individuals in power have given these folks access to their constituents. That being able to pat themselves on the back, not just about being liberal, not even about being inclusive. To them, this is about them being better than everyone else, morally. They are better. They are the good people. See, I care. See, I love. You are evil. And your discretion, your scrutiny, your, prejudice, which used to be an okay thing for you to preach to your children. Not in the, the other sense, you know what I mean? Your prejudice, and again, can't always be pejorative. Discernment, even. The things you used to teach your children. Look, if you're in a bad situation and you feel it, follow your instinct. Do you remember when Juan Williams got fired from, NPR? Because he said after September 11th, he felt concerned whenever he had seen a Muslim person getting on a plane. He didn't say that he got off the plane. He didn't say that he walks up to the Muslim and says, hey, let me search you. He didn't say that. He expressed what was really on his mind. Jesse Jackson, just recently passed, openly admitted, when I see young black men wearing hoodies walking down the street, I cross the street. Did anybody call him a bigot? Did anybody call him a self-hater? No. But to show you how bad it is, when Maxine Waters and the aforementioned Jesse Jackson wanted to change the language in schools for black kids by introducing Ebonics as a language for black children. Nobody thought that was racist. Isn't that interesting? The black kids can't learn English, so we're going to incorporate Ebonics as a language. That's where we are in this world, and unfortunately, it's an incredibly unsafe place. Now, the left will turn around and blame us for it. They will say it's because of our hostility that they are coming in and they are terrorizing us. But my shot back to them is, they're not terrorizing us. They're terrorizing you. You, their so-called ally. You, the one that is supportive of them, fight for them, go to bat for them, argue and shout at your neighbor for. It is you. The rest of us, well, what are the rest of us doing? Oh, you know what we're doing. We're gunning up. That's what we're doing. 1 gun, 2 gun, 3 gun, 4. That's what we're doing. We understand there's a war going on outside. There is. Just is. And the beauty of it is that we're not going to use our guns because you won't accept conservatism. That's not how that works. People who use their guns for their political positions are usually transgenders and leftists, using fascist means to get everyone to adhere to what they believe. Exactly what we're seeing today. These are politically motivated attacks on vulnerable people in vulnerable places that have the toughest gun laws, the toughest, leaving every one of those so-called liberal, loving, caring, and very thoughtful people wide open. And nothing is going to change after. And let me explain to you why. Because whatever it is or whomever it is that is responsible for what we're seeing in and around the country today, guess what those same people will do? They'll say, mourn for the dead. But they will admonish you if you point out who the perpetrator is. And the news media, as CNN did just the other day, would twist themselves into a pretzel to protect the offender. Don't you dead name him. Don't you do Islamophobia on him. It's unconfirmed if he said Allahu Akbar. We're not certain. We have it on tape right there. Yes, but that tape sounds distorted. It's not, there's a lot of things going on. I hear the people screaming. It doesn't sound like he said it. I can't hear it over the screams of people dying. That's what will happen. These people will be protected, as they always are. I can tell you so many stories. So many stories. You've seen them. They're everywhere. They are quick to cover these events. They are right there. Every camera. People flying out to the area. Get a reporter. Get a reporter. And then when they find out who the perpetrator is, get a linguist. Get a linguist. Alter his name. Is he a transgender? Don't mention it. Don't you dare. That's what's going to happen. Mark, well, it's one of those things where I know that I don't have to preach. We all know what's going to happen. Be prepared for it. And don't freak out when it does. We already knew it was happening. Just get used to it. And guess what? Their credibility dies with it. They don't even care about the credibility anymore. I mean, they're actively trying to destroy their brand, to work against the American people as it pertains to telling them the truth. It's Pravda You know it. I know it. There's nothing to be upset about. Watch, and this is for me, what I love about it is I like watching the demise of these news channels. I love hearing people saying, I've just had enough of being lied to. Some people won't. Some people want these liars to lie to them. Some people are addicted to it. They won't trust anyone else, so they'll allow these people to lie to them. Make them look foolish. But, that's how it goes. Like I said, we'll monitor this. I think John Silver's coming up in the news real quick. Hopefully that's back up. He'll give you any details that he has on it. He is covering it closely, as we will too. I'll have something new for you shortly, as soon as I check a couple of sources that I have, and then we'll share that with you. Let's take a break. We'll be back. More news and more views when we return. It's Reese on the Radio.
Fan of WTIC? Then do us a favor. Download the free Odyssey app and favorite WTIC.
All right, I want to give a shout out to the security officer in Michigan at the synagogue who disposed of that animal. He is dead. Good riddance to bad rubbish, as they say. I don't get into that whole, good guy with a gun thing. I usually annihilate my opponents on that, but I don't want to get into that. I just want to say that, how do I want to put this? I want to be, okay, I figured it out. Okay, back away from the radio a little bit, turn it down a little bit. I just want to, yes, he deserved to die, and I hope he burns in hell. Just want to get that out. Just want to get that out of the way. Now, just want to make sure I make that abundantly clear. They said something ignited in the suspect's vehicle. I'm seeing that the sheriff is in a press conference there. We've got to find a way, Roland. We used to be able to do it. Didn't we do it during Kamala Harris's presser when she finally she conceded or something like that, where we could join the conference in progress? Didn't we have that capability before?
Join what conference?
Yeah, right now there's a press conference happening on Fox News.
Yeah, that was
the old system that they had in there, right?
No.
Remember Kamala Harris came out and said she was doing her concession speech?
Yep.
And remember we joined it in progress?
Yeah.
That Wednesday? How did we do that? Was that we just grab a feed from whatever?
Yeah, but it was approved though.
Oh, okay. So we have to have that approved?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I don't know if it's for everything, but I know certain things.
Oh, we have to have it for licensing reasons, I presume.
I would assume so.
Okay. Well, I will look that up. So I won't put that on you. I'll ask corporate on how we can do that, because look, news is always happening. We should.
What are you watching? What channel are you watching?
I'm on Fox, but I know Fox, we have. Okay, you know what? It might be a CBS thing.
CBS Fox thing.
Yeah, that's totally the deal. So we might be running. Yeah, we would be running counter to our agreement with CBS. Okay, that's probably the case. All right, no problem. I will. You know what I'll do? I'll just grab sound bites. That'll have to be the case when we do it. So. By the way, if you are watching any of these or have any information you want to share with the audience, please do. 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. I will take the calls momentarily. Let me read this to sort of set up what we're going to do today. An act concerning the provision of equivalent instruction. I want to talk about that because this has everything to do with that homeschooling bill. This is House Bill 5468, the hearing that Roseanne and I went to yesterday. I also want to discuss this, which sits in my fingers, HB 5044, the fiscal shell game map, the flow of fraud. Now, many people have been seeing this online. It's on X. It's everywhere. It's also on Facebook. A young woman gave testimony yesterday that everyone is sharing. Now, I just want to warn you. In fact, I'll be graceful or allow some grace. Most of what the young lady said has been substantiated. There are some others that unfortunately give a little wiggle room for not factual. I'm going to lay that out. But she is onto something here. This isn't to discredit her. I want to make sure that's clear. This is not to discredit her testimony. I looked into it. It was, as soon as I saw it, I think it was Kate Prokop who posted it. I heard it and I went, okay, that's interesting. This is the vaccine bill, 5044. And this woman did all the research based on published reports. She is 100% right. All of these things that she notes are published reports, and they do line up. Not all of them, but definitely most of them. And the way she laid it out, I think it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out of the 7, I think there are 3 that are not entirely substantiated. Not saying that they're false. It's just that they're not substantiated yet, but they give reason. The breakdown is that there's legitimacy in the inquiry. Let's put it that way. So she is not going off the rails. She's literally following the breadcrumbs. Let's just say that these 3 items on here, as far as the breadcrumbs are concerned, are a little thin. But where there's smoke, there's fire, so to speak. So I want to get into that today as well. Ladies, listen to me. Women, especially liberal women. I've never understood this. This is an age-old question for me. I'm telling you, I have heard about this practice for over 30 years. And you notice the part that I can't understand? Is that liberal women have not stepped up to fight against this. I have seen women on street corners fighting against pornography. I have seen women fighting against online pornography. I have seen women argue against, revenge porn, as they call it. I've seen women do all that. But the fact that there are women out there who have not fought tooth and nail to protect girls from genital mutilation absolutely astounds me. And you want to know the part that makes it crazy? Is that the women who have been testifying for, I'm telling you, better part of 35 years, have all been African women who have experienced this barbaric treatment. And I can't get some of the most liberal white women, even the short-haired ones, to fight for these women and fight against it. It is baffling. I don't want to hear another word from a lesbian about misogyny. I don't want to hear a word. I don't want to hear anything from a Karen about bravado and machismo. I don't want to hear nothing from any of you whining. If there are, these black women had to testify yesterday to talk about the violent act of mutilating their genitals to get what can only be described as the greatest country on God's green earth, to get them to realize, stop doing this to your children. This is not fashionable. And I'm stunned by it. I am. I'm absolutely stunned by it. The things that these women endured, it's like, it's crazy. And let me tell you this. And here's why I'm angry, because I've experienced this so often in my life. I can be a little pig-headed. Every one of my wives will tell you that. I can even be a little misogynist. Every one of my wives, hell, girlfriends would tell you that too. Right? I have been. I'm a guy's guy, okay? I don't wash dishes. In fact, I don't even talk about not washing dishes. I tell people, we don't even have conversations about me not washing dishes. I don't do it. I don't do domestic, and I'll tell you, I don't cook either. I don't think men should cook. I even know, I'm sorry, Roland, I know you don't like it, but that's just me. But I don't think men should cook. And everybody says, well, men are the best chefs ever. Yeah, it's proving that men do everything better. See? See what I just did there? Yes. I'm a misogynist. I get it. And when I express that to women all over the world, they say the same thing. You're just an arrogant pig. You're disrespectful to women. You see women as beneath you. You don't see women as equal. You're not equal. 1 and 1 are equal. I can't get pregnant. You can. We're not equal. You have breasts naturally. If I put on some weight, whatever. But the point is, I do not have female genitalia. You do. We are not equal. Do you not understand how equal works? We are the same, 100% through and through. There's no differences. A slight difference. Your skin is different. Your body composition is different. You are not equal to me, and I'm not equal to you. Now, that being said, with all of that screaming and hollering and thinking that I'm a misogynist, again, you probably are right. It is insane that this misogynist pig cares more about the atrocities that are happening to these African women than you, modern feminists. You don't even speak up for them. I don't see you protesting in the streets. You scream and holler. You protest everywhere about your human rights being taken by a dictatorial, authoritarian orange man. Then you hear a story about a woman being mutilated in this way, and you go, sucks to be you. And I know that these guys, they tell me, it's like, I'm so arrogant. I have no use for you losers. You're pathetic. I won't be lectured to by you people, any of you. Man, woman, child, none of you. I won't be lectured by you. You're worthless pieces of garbage that you would have to stand by, and we actually have to have a hearing, an actual hearing, to explain to a bunch of denunts, stop doing this to women. We have to have a law? Should be ashamed of yourselves. Please spare me your moral judgment. Get out of here. Blah. We got to take a break. We'll be back. More news, more views. We'll be back. It's Reese on the radio.
It's Reese on the radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Kathleen just sent me a message. She writes this. Oh, my God. What did you say? You don't think men should cook? Oh, my God, Reese. And I went, I stand by my ignorance. I do. I'm sorry. Look, I love you all. God bless you for those. And again, this is not one of those things. I am not like most liberals. Right? I'm not like any liberal, now that I think about it. I am not like these people who say, because I believe something, you should believe something. I wouldn't be a vegan who then says, you all have to stop eating beef. I'm not that guy. I need you to accept me for who I am. I don't think men should cook, but I ain't running around like restaurants, like putting. You
ain't out there assaulting Emerald. Bam!
Yeah, exactly. I'm not running out there putting chefs in sleeper holds. Go to sleep. Stop cooking.
You shouldn't be in this kitchen.
I'm not that guy. Yes, I'm not going into a restaurant pointing my finger at the chef. Shame.
That would actually be funny. I can't believe you said that, though, for real.
I'm sorry.
Goodness gracious.
It's what I believe. It has always been what I believed, but I accept the world as it is. But it is my opinion. Now, I need people to understand. These things that I believe are, okay, are they a little, I don't want to call it backwards. That's unfair. let's say outdated. I get it.
Yeah,
it's outdated. I know, but it's okay. Can I say something to you?
I come from a whole family of male cooks.
I know,
and they were brick masons too.
So I'm going to throw something back at you that you said a long time ago.
Uh-oh.
Okay, and this is the reason why, because I knew this would come up one day, and I was going to have to throw it back at you. You said that cooking is an expression of love. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. I am not great at it. I'm not great at cooking. I try. I'm good. I'm okay. Right? But you're right. When someone cooks for you, it is an expression of love. And when Roseanne cooks for me, it shows that she loves me. And when I go out and work for her and I work hard and I come home and I'm sweaty and I'm dirty, that's my expression of love to her. So I have a certain dynamic. I have a love language to my wife, and that is to provide for her so that one, we always have food. Two, we always have money that has a roof over our head, that she always has gas in the car, and whenever she wants to go, I will take her. This is my love language. I told the story when Roseanne and I first started courting. Well, it wasn't really courting, but we were at the...
Yeah, see, that's how you know you stuck way back. When Roseanne and I started courting.
Yeah, well...
Nobody says that
I
anymore.
do. I'm 56, darn it. But when we were courting, we were at the department store, and she had her own stuff to buy, and I had my own stuff. And I simply told the attendant, the cashier, I said, just throw her stuff on my bill. And she, of course, came back and was like, I'm an independent woman. I can pay for my own thing. And I looked at her and I said, that's adorable. Put it on my bill, please. And she was like, what? And I was like, yes. I'm like, that's adorable that you're an independent woman. But listen, this is how I flirt. I want to take care of you. I'm trying to tell you that I want to take care of you, that I want to be able, that you will never have to spend a dime as long as I'm capable, that I'm going to take care of you. And it's not just about money, but I think to me, or at least I hope that Roseanne gets it, that it's not about spending money. It's about being able to care for her every need, no matter what, is to nurture her, to care for her, make sure that if she wants something, that it's not a problem.
Cook her a nice meal.
Cooking is not something that I am good at. I am good at providing in the way that I provide.
Now, okay, let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
If you were a great cook, would you still look at a male cooking the same way?
No. If I was given the gift of being able to cook naturally, I would teach Roseanne. I'm sorry. I know it's messed up.
Get this guy out of here. All right, folks, that's the show.
I'm just saying. That's what I would do. It's just, I'm sorry, it's just a thing. I'm wired differently.
Yeah,
I know some guys out there who agree with me. They might think that I'm a little crazy on this one, but it's just the way that I'm wired. Again, it doesn't mean that I see women as domestic servants. It's not about that.
You're not saying shut up and make me a sandwich.
Yes, exactly. I do not see women as barefoot and pregnant. I know women are capable of a ton of things. But in my household, which, again, remember, when Roseanne and I got together, guess what she didn't want to do? She didn't want to be a stay-at-home wife. She refused. She said, I could work out there and get my own money. I said, no. In my house, if we are going to be together, these are the rules. If we're going to be together, we need to be on the same page. And she wasn't used to it at first, and she fought it tooth and nail, and I explained it to her. And then she made me make a commitment. She said, you've got 6 months to prove to me that you can provide for this household, that I don't have to worry about a thing. If you make that mark, then I will trust you with it. And she gave me 6 months, and I delivered. And that was when. And again, she didn't just openly and I know some women out there who say that. It's just like, you just want me to give up everything and just put it in the hands of some man? Well, not every man. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying just because he's a man, you have to give up what you're doing.
So what if she wanted, she has too much time on her hands. She want a little part-time just to,
clean. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, man.
I was kidding. No, I have tried very much so. I told Roseanne, start charity work. She could volunteer. And if she wanted a small part-time job, of course she could take that. Absolutely. If she felt like she wasn't fulfilled in something, she could do whatever she wanted to do. But that was on her time to give her an opportunity to do whatever she wanted to do. But her job, in my view, is to take care of me. and I will take care of her. And she has been absolutely, in the beginning, she hated cooking. She hated being domestic. But guess what? I've made it comfortable for her in a level where she says, you know what, I feel absolutely liberated by being the woman who takes care of you, that when you come home, you know, we sit down and we eat dinner together and we talk about our day. And then when I want something, I will take her to the ends of the earth no matter what she asks for. I'm sure I'll do it begrudgingly, but I still do it. It's kind of where it is. I know it's crazy, but it is. It's where it is.
I mean, everybody got their thing.
I know. We got to get to the newsroom. John Silva, I'm sure he's got some updates on all of this that's happening in the news across the country, so we'll get to him. We'll be back. More news, more views. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC, News Talk 1080.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC, News Talk 1080.
Okay, so here we have this piece that has gone viral, and the headline is this. HB 5044, the fiscal shell game map. It's called The Flow of the Fraud. Now, I would usually break all of this down just as it reads, but I need to break down a whole lot more. So the way this young lady laid it out during the hearing yesterday was she talks about, first, what led to House Bill 5044. So she starts from the beginning by pointing out what she calls the deficit. And she says that Connecticut lost $155 million in federal grants. And the Department of Health is now insolvent. And she's accurate. She's 100% right on this front. In March of 2025, the Trump administration terminated approximately $155 million in federal grants to Connecticut, with DPH absorbing the bulk, $149 million. These funds supported infectious disease management, newborn genetic screening, substance abuse prevention, vaccination outreach, and outbreak tracking. Sources confirm immediate impacts to DPH faced staffing shortages, reduced vaccine clinics, delayed newborn screenings, and limited real-time data on emerging threats like measles and monkeypox. State officials, including Governor Ned Lamont and DPH Commissioner Manisha Juthani, described it as a dark day for public health, affecting vulnerable populations. Now, they say there's no direct evidence of full insolvency, but the cuts created significant budget gaps, prompting state responses like fund transfers. That is an important part of this story. Now, she then goes on and says that what Connecticut did as a response to this was raid pensions. She says in her testimony that SB 83 diverted $330 million from teachers' pensions to a shadow budget to cover that hole, the money that they lost. And according to this claim, SB 83, an act establishing the Federal Cuts Response Fund, was introduced in February of this year and passed quickly, signed into law on February 9th. It creates a fund to mitigate federal funding reductions and explicitly referencing impacts from the federal legislation, like Public Law 119 through 21. The bill requires transferring of $330.8 million from the Budget Reserve Fund, that's BRF, the Budget Reserve Fund, to this new fund. The Budget Reserve Fund is a rainy day fund built from surplus revenues, not directly from teachers' pensions. However, Connecticut's teachers' pension system is chronically underfunded, and critics, including Republicans like Senator Paul Ciccarella, argued during debates that using BRF money indirectly diverts resources that stabilize pensions. So that's where this woman is making the connection. So you see how it's sort of like it's breadcrumbs, but there's some wiggle room here. She also states, here's the waste. DPH is sitting on 110,000 expiring vaccines doses. The value, $8 million. They must be liquidated by the end of the year, December 31st. Now, according to what we were able to find, that the stockpile must be used. In 5044, the act establishing Connecticut's vaccine standards, Governor Lamont's budget bill, it expands DPS authority to set immunization standards based on evidence from bodies like the CDC and American Academy of Pediatrics and the ACIP. That requires state-regulated insurance to cover these vaccines and explore a pilot for uninsured, underinsured access, meaning children and flu shots. It does not explicitly mandate vaccines for all residents or tie to expiring stock. However, critics can argue, and have, that it gives DPH Commissioner unilateral power to update standards, adding flu and COVID shots to school requirements without full legislative review. We all know that to be true. But there has been no certainty in that claim. It just says it can happen. So she's not off her markers. I told you that there were a few things that were sort of breadcrumby, but not exactly breadcrumbs. Next, she talks about the smoking guns here. The audit failures. The DPH failed to reconcile 76% of its financial reports, according to an audit report in March 8th of 2026. The audit, Connecticut auditors released a DPH report on March 8th for fiscal years ending June 30th, likely for 24 and 25. It highlights contractor compliance issues and errors, but no specific 76% failure mentioned in the sources. Broader audits like 2023 statewide found DPH shortfalls in federal fund maintenance, a $17 million total, but not matching her numbers exactly. In essence, it's saying that there was shortfalls, but not to the tune that is being reported here in the 76%. So again, it's not discrediting her claim. It's just saying it's not the same number. Okay? That's the important part here. That's all of the important part to consider here. And then she breaks down the motive. She says, this is all a revenue bill disguised as a health bill. The state is taxing your insurance premiums to cover up $155 million federal loss, a $330 million pension raid, and mandating medical procedures to liquidate expiring stock. Those are the claims. Now, this is interpretive at best, but they focus on vaccine access amid federal cuts. But critics see it as revenue-driven. Insurance coverage mandates could offset state costs. Premium hikes are real, but tied to broader factors. No evidence of direct liquidation intent, but vaccine policy changes align with post-cut priorities. The broader context suggests that Connecticut saw record access Health Connecticut enrollments despite hikes, with state funds offsetting some costs. Debates highlight tensions over executive power versus oversight. So again, not exactly a breadcrumb, but then again, not dispelling what the belief is here. So it's circumstantial at best. But again, I state, where there's smoke, there is fire. None of this is to be ignored. So again, let's get a breakdown. Her claims at the hearing yesterday about the $155 million grant loss, that has been confirmed. The raid of $330 million in pensions, partially confirmed. The waste, 110,000 expiring doses, unconfirmed, but historical parallels. There's no 2026 data on this, but it's unconfirmed. It doesn't mean it's not true. It's just unconfirmed. The fix, the vaccine mandates, they say exaggerated, but expand standards, not universal mandates. So again, exaggerated. As I like to claim, that is smoke, but not fire. The tax, the 20% premium, they confirmed the hikes. That is a fact. The audit failure, 76% of unreconciled reports, partially confirmed. Partially confirmed. recent DPH audit on compliance issues. And last but not least, the height of hikes and enabling fines. It's plausive, but interpretive. In essence, it can be, based upon how you interpret those actual hikes. But again, all of these claims have not been debunked. They have not. And I just wanted to make sure that it was out there. You can watch the video. What I will do is I'll put it on my Facebook page so you can listen to the testimony yourself. And many people on the panel there were actually very interested in her statements, because what she very much clarifies is, don't tell me otherwise, because all of this has been confirmed with reports. We went to go look them up. We got the transcript, and we checked all of it out and laid it out, and sure enough, we sorted out where it's been sorted out. So that's where we are. So the bill, 5044, appears, and it's got enough legs on it to appear to have something very, very underneath it that seems nefarious, outside of the fact that one person would be in charge of vaccine mandates in the state. That in and of itself is crazy. But I think this gives a lot of people reason or pause when thinking about Governor Lamont and his policies, because this came directly from his office, right? This comes directly from his office. So what kind of shell game is he pulling in all of this? We will investigate. We'll get to the bottom of it so that people know. Let's go, Rudy. How we doing, Rudy? What's up?
Hey, great opening. They are stupid enough to let terrorists walk in and kill them.
Yeah. Yes.
And that's not partial what I called, but you also said something else that was great.
Okay.
Why don't Democrat women defend the mutilation of female genitals?
Ooh, I don't get it.
Dude, you're missing the big picture. What do they do to their kids? Oh, you want to become a girl? You're 9 years old. We mutilate them.
Yeah,
it's their motto. You totally missed that.
Well, no, I did. I did say the cosmetic sort of. What do you call? What's the term I'm looking for? Are
you allowed to say the anatomy part?
What, vagina?
Well, the clitoris is what they snip
Yeah, that's
off.
technical. Yeah, that's not a curse word, so to speak.
So why would they care if they did that to a 16-year-old girl, because it's becoming adulthood in the Islam faith, but they don't care when you take an 11-year-old boy and make him a girl?
Yeah, I know. Look, I know that a lot of this is sort of it evolved around this turning your child into a Hermes bag. I just saw a video on X just a little while ago. These women in some home clapping, celebrating the fact that they have transgender children, or they made their children transgender. They're, again, walking around like they're a fashion plate. It's really weird.
It's just they thrive in negative energy. Now, I'm going to piss some people off.
Okay.
The majority of the people in the state of Connecticut have their heads so far up there, you know what?
Yeah.
But now, listen, I don't want to hear a MAGA person, a conservative, someone that used to like me, someone that knows me, get mad at me for this. What is the majority in Connecticut?
The majority. I missed the question. What is the majority of what in Connecticut?
Voters in Connecticut, leftists.
Oh, yeah. Well,
so that's who I'm referring to. I listened to I got a 2-hour lull waiting for a catering event yesterday to get done with their speech.
Yeah.
So I went off to the side room and I listened to you for about an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And you had Betsy
McCoy.
One mistake. Do not call Lamont moderate. There is no such thing as a moderate Democrat.
No. I said he called himself a moderate. I never would.
But she agreed with that.
Oh, so, that he used to be a moderate and then became a leftist?
He was never a moderate. I don't care. Down here, he'd be a radical. In Texas, he'd be a radical. But this is what's crazy. So you're bringing all this up. You remember you brought up park benches can't have arms. You can't.
Yes, she did. She did, yeah. So
yesterday morning at 9:45, I had a senior at Florida Southern University at our host stand taking a phone call.
Mm-hmm.
She's our host at the restaurant. And she looks out the window. And there's an outdoor table right outside the window. And next to that outdoor table, what do you think is standing there? A homeless guy.
Wow.
And he stole our bag of sanitizer wipes that we wiped the table with. Guess what he did?
I don't know.
dropped his shorts, was washing
Oh my God. Oh my God.
washing his junk. I'm trying to keep this clean.
Yeah,
in the
please.
middle of the sidewalk. She's flapping her arms because she can't do anything. She's on the phone with it. And the manager, myself, and another girl run over. And at that point, he's digging in his backside with sanitizer wipes. And so I go around to the side door where the owners are unloading the catering truck.
Yeah.
And my owner's a woman, and she's like 56, so she's like Gen X. She calls downtown security that patrols on a golf cart. I'm like, I come down the handicap ramp, and this guy, half naked, is trying to go up the ramp to come into the restaurant. Oh. And I'm like, get the F off the property before I make you go. So a cop comes rolling up, and he goes, hey, I was outside. Because we have a huge patio of tables.
Yeah.
Did you see the guy? Yeah. Green shirt, ball cap, blue ball cap. He went through the park, blah, blah, blah. They got him. They brought him back to, did we see, was this the guy? Blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. He's in jail. If any bum, I don't want to call them bums, if any homeless person is caught in our parks, on our benches, panhandling on a corner, they get arrested.
Wow, really?
Yep, and they have to get released to like a homeless shelter. They're not allowed to sleep.
Just return back on the street. Yeah, you know what? Thank goodness for that. I'm not going to lie, because
Connecticut is voting opposite of that rule.
Oh yeah, I know.
So what is wrong with it? Tim from Hamden, do you want to step out on the sidewalk and have to put down? There's a poop map.
I know.
Like San Francisco. You want to go walk your dog to the park, and you can't sit down on a bench because that's someone's studio apartment. Like, what is wrong with you people in Connecticut? I'm not talking about Dave. I'm not talking about Joe from Simsbury.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the idiots that vote 63% to elect Chris Murphy, Lamont, Rosa DeLoria, the worst congresswoman I've ever had in my life.
I think that, look, and you're 100% right, because some of these people who are in these areas, if they get the opportunity, I mean, not that these things are going to move very fast, but if they move fast enough where they see their own neighborhoods turn into, godforsaken places to roam, or their children are no longer safe, they'll start thinking about exactly what they're voting for.
So where do you live in Connecticut?
I'm in Farmington.
All right, which isn't a cheap neighborhood.
No, it's not.
You didn't move there so that a mobile home park would come in.
Hell no.
So I lived in Middlefield, which had 37 per thousand assessed. My boy Scott Wheeler, I don't know if you follow him on Twitter. He's probably listening. And the deli in town always listens to the station, and I was a regular there. Middlefield's a beautiful rural town on a lake. Yeah. We have state troopers, no police department, volunteer fire department, 2,800 residents, share a school district with Durham. They tried to do this a couple years ago. And now they're trying to do it again. We don't pay $37,000 assessed.
Wow.
$37 per thousand assessed so that you could take our park and build a 8-story housing project. So, I mean, you pay the money to live in these towns.
Exactly.
So you live with like people and you have a good school system. You have services. And the fact that all they're doing is taking the failure of Hartford, Bridgeport, and New Haven
and putting it in the suburbs.
Right. Let's close our housing projects that we've never taken care of, we can't maintain, we can't rebuild, and let's go to Simsbury and tell Joe that the empty lot next to his house is now going to be like a homeless shelter.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Did you see my article the other week? I said I want to live where the white people are, and don't lie, you do too. Did you see that? I put it on X. And everybody said the same thing. It was like, Reese is actually right. And I know it's right. I don't care what stripe you were in. If you are from the hood and you make something of yourselves, you are moving to the neighborhood like Farmington. You are moving there. And the last thing you want is a participation trophy from the people you left to be able to move next door just willy-nilly.
The crazy thing down here is, when I don't want to sound racist, but stereotypical, you go into black neighborhood, overweight. Down here, the majority of the black women in my county are like educated. They have bodies like white girls. Like they're 5'6" and they weigh 125 pounds. It's the white girls that grew up in the trailers in the swamps that never got married. That have 3 kids.
It's so true. That's such a what is that? I was remember
the best-looking girls in Central Florida are black women, or
I know, but you know what that reminds
Cuba.
me of? It was the first time I ever saw the ghettos of what's the town that Bill Clinton is from in Arkansas?
Oh, I can't remember, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it was the first time I ever saw it. Little Rock, yes, thank you. Little Rock, Arkansas.
White girls with summer teeth, summer here, summer there.
I was like, Little Rock has a hood, and they're all white. What's going on? I thought I was looking at a photo negative.
I had 3 beautiful black nurses, and I mean, not one of them was a pound overweight the other day.
Wow.
And they tip well. I mean, there is a stereotypical thing about black people tipping, but I told them what I told you on the phone a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
I go up north in the Democrat cities and stuff.
Yeah.
They think collard greens are black people food, and that only blacks eat watermelon, and shrimp and grits is soul food. It's Southern food down here. Everyone I know, black, white, Hispanic, eats watermelon and collard greens.
I told you, I have been completely corrupted by North, because everybody in the North thinks that that's black food because they know nothing about the South. It's just a typical place. I got to go, Rudy. I got to get out of here. It's literally over my time. But thank you, buddy, as always. Let me get out of here. We'll be back. More news, more views. We'll return. It's Reese on the radio.
Listen to WTIC News Talk 1080 on the free Odyssey app. Download and like WTIC today for alerts on special programming.
Hey, we are back. Reese on the radio right here on News Talk 1080 WTIC. I thought, for some odd reason, this ridiculous computer phone nonsense is really, really driving me through the roof. I have some weird... I'm just going to have to get rid of the program. Anyway, it just happens all the time. I was going to say something. Oh, we have a guest. I just got it confirmed. He's on his way. A.J. Johnson, who is the Reverend and Director of the North Hartford Public Safety Coalition. You may have seen him at plenty of these rallies, these political press conferences. Usually they involve racial tension, shootings, racism, things along those lines. He is a community activist. He held a press conference today in Hartford at the site where Stevie Jones was shot and killed by a police officer a few weeks ago. He'll be here to talk about the flyer he put out and the demands that he's making for the mayor of Hartford and also the police chief, as well as reforms he'd like to see in the police force and in public safety or public health, as it were. So I got a bunch of questions to ask him, many of which I asked right here on the program. So when he gets here, we'll sit and we'll talk about all of those things. It ought to be an interesting interview. It may be, I don't know, it may be volatile. It just may be, but I'm not going to hold back. I've got a lot of things that I've been wanting to ask these so-called leaders for a long time. And a lot of them are under this impression, and I know they're listening because they saw me today. A lot of them are under the impression that if you go on Reese on the Radio's program, you're only platforming Reese, right? That's what they will tell themselves. You're just giving him what he wants, and he's going to go there, and he's going to, sabotage you, and he's going to make you look foolish, and all that. None of these things I can do. I can't make you look foolish. It is not my intention to make you feel foolish or to look foolish. That's solely on you if that happens. You have to come in here and be loaded for bear, and you at least have to be prepared for some questions that are outside of your, your little bubble. And I saw today when I got there, the head of the Hartford NAACP, Corey Betts. Corey Betts? Is that his name? Is that his name? Corey Betts? I think it's his name, whatever. And he was there. And the thing that I don't know what it is. And it's not, by the way, this is not just black leaders. This is elected officials as well. I can see something in people that maybe you can. I don't want to get the impression that I see it better than you do or more than you do. But I want you to try this out. This is primarily towards men. So ladies, just for a second. Now, ladies, you can try this if you want to. But I think this is a male thing that you should do. Guys, you should do this when you meet people. Unless, if it's a business meeting, you can meet everyone and be cordial. Hey, nice to meet you. But when it's someone who you know doesn't really favor you, doesn't like you very much, thinks that you are arrogant or, you know what I'm talking about, guys. I want you to try it because I do it a lot. I come right on them and I look them directly in the face. And when I say I don't get up close to them, I'm not sitting there 2 inches from them like we're about to have a boxing match. No. I get close enough and I grab them. Trump does this a lot. He does it a lot. He grabs the hand and he pulls you towards him. You know? He's like letting you know. What it's called is the personification of keep my enemies closer. That's what Trump is doing. Now, his friends, he'll do that. He'll josh with them. But you know what? He looks you square in the face and lets you know that he's checking you to see if you're the tough guy you portray. He's already seen everything there is to see. I've met some of the toughest of the tough. I've seen them approach me and even shake my hand to give me the impression that they are the alpha male. Men do that. I don't know what is, but they do. And I do it as well in the sense of what's going on. And I never shake a hand too long, but I shake it long enough. In other words, some people shake hand and do about 3 shakes. 1, 2, 3, and they're done. No. I shake 6 times. Hey, man, how you doing? In the middle of me saying I'm shaking my hand. Now, if they wish to push back, and there are alpha males too, they'll keep holding on. Some of them will even give you a tight grip to let you know that, no, I'm not scared of you. Others will immediately, look to release. That's when I got you. Because then I don't move back. There is no resistance. That is me standing there, and I'm not going to move. And I believe in invading your personal space. I need you to know that I am now jockeying position. And when I go to a guy like Corey Betts, who says to me over and over again, yeah, man, I'm going to be on your show. I promise, man, I'm going to come and get you. First thing I say to him is like, dude, who are you kidding? Your phone goes to voicemail, and it doesn't receive any phone calls. There's no real phone for me to contact. You're never showing up. Now, he saw me wearing this hat, which says Reagan Bush 84, and he says, nice hat. And I go, stop lying. You hate this hat. So this hat is against everything that you believe in. And I said, and everybody in this neighborhood hates this hat. And I said, but then again, that's probably why I wore it. And he looks at that, and the guy who's standing next to him, who he was having a conversation with, even he is seeing that I'm trying to punk him. It's sad, but it's true. He can tell. He can tell that I'm alpha mailing him. Because he's trying to have a pleasant conversation while I, on the other hand, am saying, why are you giving me the runaround? Be a man. Come on the show, answer some questions. Tell me what's going on in the community. Please tell me why you're so afraid. And I keep looking at these guys, and I say to them all the time, it's Reese on radio. Right? African-American male in New England on a 50,000-watt flamethrower, WTIC. You guys believe in that, supporting your brothers? Can't come on the program. Won't even show up. And I'm stunned by it. I'm enormously stunned by it. And they've got no answers for me. So I appreciate A.J. Johnson coming in and sitting down to talk about this because, again, I've got a lot of questions. By the way, Corey told me something that I thought was the most hilarious thing I've ever heard in my life. the funniest thing I ever heard. He said, and I quote, after I asked him, hey, why don't you come on today? He said, I can't, man. I'm at work. The NAACP is doing an audit. What? I did everything. It took everything for me not to laugh. I was trying so hard. I went, audit of what? Like, is there a bean counter at the NAACP? It's going, let me see. We had 4 black people call the N-word today, and I just 9 people workplace racism. An audit of what? What is the audit? I don't know. I was thrown. I was just thrown a little bit. They do an audit? Unless it's an audit for like donations and what they spend money on, I could do that audit. Let me see. Donations go to you and you spend it, I don't know, on yourselves. What year is that Chrysler? I don't know. I'm cruel. I know. It's just mean-spirited. I know. They set me up for this. I just want them to do, look, I want them to do what's right for the community. And I'm sorry, I was the one. I'm self-appointed, the person who's going to scrutinize these organizations to make sure that they're doing right by the people they claim to serve. That's all I'm saying. We're not getting duped again by Black Lives Matter. We're not doing it anymore. We are so over that. There are not going to be any donations given out to make sure that we buy for homes in L.A. It's just not going down like that. Just not. And I'm sorry. Again, not going to be using people. We're not going to be standing on the backs of black people and the so-called impoverishment to enrich others. It's just not a deal, So a lot of people with some nice shiny shoes, these people should look poor if they're helping the community. They just should. They should look poorer. So a lot of nice haircuts and well-manicured beards at these events. Sorry, I gotta go. I gotta take a break. We'll be back. More news, more views. It's Reese on the radio.
It's Reese on the radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
I got some things that are coming up. As you all know, we're going to be doing a debate on April 30th. That is a go. We just got some final paperwork that we've got to finish up on that, and we'll start working on you folks being able to participate in that. We have the venue. We're working with Dana over at Stadium 15 to get all that stuff squared away, which we should be able to do very soon. And a big shout out to Dana for making this all possible for us. He's a good friend, and he's actually been absolutely immensely valuable. Not even just on this venture in general, but just as a friend to myself and Roseanne. We love him to death. And I'm so glad that it's one of the reasons I can tell you, Dana, Craig in the car, Fritz the cat, of course, Mark in West Hartford, Adam 12, Simsbury Joe, of course, Matty O, Sam the Man, just so many of the guys who I've sort of been able to meet and hang out with, who I call the scallywags, Michael A, Michael B, Michael C, all of them, who are John Beckman I've known for over 10 years now, so he don't count. But there's so many people who have been who welcomed us into the state, or just coming here, and has made our entire lives seamless. I was on the phone with Adam 12 earlier, and was talking about, I haven't lived in Connecticut long enough to be bitter about it. But I'll tell you why it's difficult, because for you guys in the last 20 years, since I've lived here, you've actually been involved in the change. So you've seen the places where it's changed. I was here in 2004, left in 2005, come back several times between 2007, 2006. and gone back and forth. Still had friends here, spent New Year's here for a lot of years after I moved here. And then came back, like in 2011, I was in the area a lot. So I've kind of had Connecticut in my life for a lot of years, but I wasn't here. And Adam 12 says something different. He, interesting to me. He says, you probably won't be bitter about it because you love it so much. And I do. When I drive through the neighborhoods in a place, I feel at home. I've never felt like that when I moved someplace. When we moved to Texas, didn't have it. Wasn't in me. It just felt like I was a fish out of water because it was so far west in Texas. I thought I would enjoy Texas in the sense of can't wait to be there. And I was excited, but apprehensive. And then I got there and I was just like, I don't know if I like this. So the jury was out for a lot of years that I was there. But Connecticut, just rolling into town and driving through it, even though I really don't know where I'm going yet. I really love it. I love looking at things. I was in Hartford. I was in the city of Hartford. I'm not going to lie. A lot of you might consider it a slum. Okay, it's a slum. But nonetheless, it was a different kind. It just felt different. And I really, really love it. I don't know. I know that some of you are just bitter, and I'd sound like the weirdest cheerleader here. There's like, oh, you don't know no better. Maybe that's a good thing for me, that I don't know any better. And I sort of look at it with fresh eyes. And I hope that I can, in some way, get you guys, and you guys have already done it. We've been here for a couple of months. And you notice my favorite thing that I've realized? Roseanne and I will come in here and say, hey, what can we do in Connecticut? And you know what you guys do? You turn 180 degrees and you start celebrating this place with us. You immediately go, you got to go here. You got to go there. I'm starting to sense even your renewed love of this state. Because all we have to do is ask, and you guys deliver. That's all I'm saying. So it's interesting. Let's take a break. Let's get some weather and traffic in here. Mark Christopher is always ready to go. Unless he's not ready to go, not here. Huh? He's in the BPS Lawyers.
Oh, I'm ready.
Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
It's Reese on the radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we are here. We are live. Reverend A.J. Johnson is here. He's sitting. I was a little concerned, because your man Corey, he don't like to show up here. He don't want to answer his phone. So you and I we need to get into the thick of this. Do you know anything? Before I even put you on the mic, just give me a shake your head, yes or no. Have you ever heard my show before or even heard of me? It's okay if you haven't. No. Good. Did anybody warn you about this show before you got here? You didn't speak to anybody and say, hey, I'm going to have Reese on the radio guy. Nobody warned you.
No, but I read your hat, and I got an idea where we're coming from.
Oh, really? Okay, all right, no problem. Well, reading the hat tells everything, I guess, right?
I own a hat store, so.
I did notice that in your WFSB. Was it? No, I'm sorry. I think you did the
Fox.
Yeah, you did Fox 61. Yeah, that interview, I saw that, and I was just like, oh yeah, that's right. He does own a hat store.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a lot of hats. I do. I wear a lot of hats, to be honest with you. I take care of this entire program. So it's good to have you here.
Yes.
I'm hoping that we can develop a relationship even in adversity, because I know that you and I are going to see differently on this, but I want to say that before, I even said or to predict that. What I want to do is for us to find common ground.
Let's do that.
You know what I mean? It's like even if we see the world differently, I have you here as I try to get a lot of people who are opposed to my views on the program so we can hash them out so that at the end we can go, you know what? I can see where he's coming from, and I can say the same thing about the person that I'm sort of having that back and forth with. So I appreciate you coming just for that.
I appreciate the invitation, brother.
No problem. What I want them to do is I want them to hear this conversation and then go, you know what? Reverend AJ didn't do bad over there, and they had a great exchange. Maybe I can go over there too. So we'll see what happens. There you go. Exactly. AJ Johnson will be joining us in a minute. Tell your friends.
Call them up.
Yeah, exactly. Call your black friends. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Okay, we are up. We are live. We are hanging out with Reverend A.J. Johnson of and I want to get this right, the North Hartford Public Safety Coalition.
Yes.
Why are we referring to it as the Public Safety Coalition? What is your role or mission statement? As the are you the president of? Is that your role? Director? Yeah. They call yourself director.
Well, so I'm the director of neighborhood organizing for the Center for Leadership and Justice. That's one.
Okay.
But out of that, we there was so much violence and things happening in North Hartford, and we weren't being heard. We decided to create a coalition.
Okay.
And that's one thing we don't have in North Hartford is people that's willing to work with each other, and that's what our idea was, to create a coalition of people that work together that do action. There's a lot of tables that talk. Our table is not we talk, but we create action out of the spaces that we're in.
Okay. Right. I want to get a little bit more into what you do, but we got a lot of hot topics to get to.
Yeah.
One in particular is there's been a lot of, as I call it on this show, rabble-rousing about the two recent shootings in Hartford, one with Everard Walker and the shooting of Stevie Jones. And you held a press conference today that I attended.
Thank you for coming.
My pleasure. At this site where he was shot and killed, or eventually killed, in that location, and you were there to. From what I'm looking at your press conference today, you were demanding a couple of things.
Yes.
And one in particular is that you wish to see, according to the residents, that the officers involved in both shootings be fired? Or are you looking for an investigation that will determine their firing?
Yeah, that's a very good. I appreciate that. So we've had a lot of conversation about that. We are very aware that the Office of the Inspector General has its process, and after that process, then the police department can open up their internal affairs thing, and then from there, the city can, the mayor's office can, we're very aware of these things, right?
Okay.
But we believe that because we are citizens and residents, we have the right and responsibility to say what we want. Okay. Understanding that there is
a process,
a legal process.
Right. So you're not saying that what you want as citizens should supersede an investigation. You just want to let people know what the people in the community are feeling about these events.
Correct.
Okay.
Because we did a survey, right? We're not pulling this out of our pocket or creating imaginary people. We knocked on 100 doors in the neighborhood. I'm a very old school organizer, right?
Okay.
I'm never going to get up in any media platform and say something that I don't know for sure to be true. We knocked on 100 doors. 68 to 70% of the people said they feel the officer should be terminated. And that's with or without an investigation.
Okay.
So, obviously that investigation is going to happen.
Right.
And it's going to yield its results. But we're saying there's no reality in our minds that when I drop my kid off to school, that this officer is going to be anywhere near our community for his safety. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, right? And for our safety. There's just in what community does that happen in?
Okay.
And why is that expected?
And this is where the tough conversation comes, right? Look, I know Hartford in the sense of violence, and in your press release, this is the part that really, really got to me. You said residents feel unsafe in our neighborhoods. Reverend, that ain't because of police. They don't feel safe in their neighborhood because of people who live and dwell and terrorize these communities. Yes?
I want to we might not be too far from the way we think.
Okay.
We know that it's poverty, it's crime, it's drugs, it's the disenfranchisement. Excuse me, I might be saying that word wrong.
No, you got disenfranchisement. Yeah.
Different disenfranchisement of the wealth and equity. Like, all these things play a part to why our community is the way it is.
Sure.
But we also have to understand is that Hartford is Hartford because of the suburbs around it. I know that.
You got to explain that to me.
And I certainly will.
Yeah, please.
Think about it. When I'm in my community, or let's just take another community, right? You have these brand new developments. People are happy to move in. Young people are happy to go move into these places. When I drive down Barber Street, the only thing we have is affordable housing, and no one from any other community is trying to come in and move here and bring the economic stability that it needs. No one's coming to do that. And so it is what it is for a reason.
Because they don't trust the community. Because
they don't trust, other people don't trust the community.
I understand.
Yeah. We're looking for people to come in, right? And what we like.
But you can't guarantee their safety. No one can. What I'm saying is like there's an atmosphere in Hartford, right, in certain communities, that are dangerous because they're dangerous.
No, I would say they're dangerous because of the disinvestment, right, and the lack of opportunity that isn't present in our community. Yeah,
but you know what?
Downtown is safe, right?
No.
People are happy to drive down 84 to go to work, right?
A lot of people are. Yes, they are. Okay. But I want to look at it this way, and this is something that is tough for a lot of people in those communities to hear. But the bottom line is, right? Nobody is making criminals do criminal things. They just are, right? And what I've always made the argument about all of this is that there is more investment in criticizing the people who are charged with keeping the community safe or responding to crime than those who commit it. And I know this, as I was talking to you over the air, I am quick to be called, and I don't want to make this about me, but I'm quick to be called the Uncle Tom because I call out the violence within the black community. Yet, I'm more of a threat than the guy who has got the gun who's going to shoot, my baby daughter in a drive-by. I'm just saying. So the point is like, which is more dangerous? Reese on the radio, who talks about how corrupt the integrity of these individuals in the community are. Am I more dangerous or these individuals? And it's an easy target to go after the police, Reverend. It's an easy target.
Agree.
Why? Because guess what? Because the police has to have some form of accountability, even if you don't agree with it. There's no accountability in the hood. These dudes walk away and just say, I just jacked fool. I just shot fool. You know what I'm saying? I just took his life. No. There's no accountability. Not even in there. I always say there's a great picture of after Stevie was shot, the police officer has his hand over his head, and he's like this. He's like, because again, he's like, man, I had to take somebody's life. I ain't never seen Ray go, damn, I shot homie. No, he's like, yo, I shot homie. So there's no, at least the officer felt a sense of remorse that he had to take a life. We don't have that in the hood. So I will say this to you. I want to say this to you, and I'll let you finish. I promise.
Please,
here's the one thing I will say to you, right? Mm-hmm. If you guys want accountability in our districts, by police, by law enforcement, or by public officials, I say this to the black community, and I say it to the hood. You first, because that's the reason why they're there. You first.
Yeah. So I want to respond, and like I said, I appreciate your position.
Thank you.
Right? I think it feels like a bridge too far, right?
Okay.
But I only say it's a bridge too far because we do have accountability in our communities, right? Again, as someone who lives, sleeps, invests, sends their kids to school, there is accountability, right? I don't like it as much as you don't like it. I don't like someone, why do I have to wake up in the morning to a shooting or another homicide? I have to live in that, right?
Yeah.
I have to raise my children in that.
You can always move.
I'm not. Why? I've lived in white communities. I've seen what white communities do to people. I've been illegally evicted from our luxurious home in Rocky Hill.
They're not all like that, I promise.
When I first came from Connecticut, that was the experience that I had.
I hear you.
Living in a white community.
I hear you.
And so I'm actively choosing to raise my family in a black community in spite of its deficits, right? And that's a personal choice.
Again, a noble one.
Yeah. I mean, I can move, but
You believe in your community.
Oh, well, I mean, Connecticut is 98% white.
Yeah.
No.
It's not a judgment. I'm saying that, look, there are a lot of people who can't leave, and there are people who can.
True
What I'm saying is that you are actively involved in your community, trying to make it, not only trying to make it better, but I'm sure you're trying to raise your children to make Connecticut better, and you want more people like you.
There you go. I would love more people like me, but I understand that trauma is real, right? But to the notion that these folks are just running around shooting each other and they don't have any remorse, you also have to think of the mindset of the people that's doing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like there are young people in our community.
Savages.
No, I'm not going to say they're savages.
No, you don't have to. I'll say it.
Yeah. No, I'm not.
Come on, man. Anybody who would run around taking a person. Remember, hold on. I'm an Uncle Tom for speaking the truth about my people. Why can't they be savages?
No, I mean, I will.
If I get to be Uncle Tom, why can't they be savages? Because I never took a life. Only thing I tried to do was save a life.
Well, you have a microphone, and that's different. Microphone is almost as crazy as it sounds.
Well, my
violent as a gun.
so you're saying that my words are more violent than somebody's actual funeral?
No, I think that people probably need to sit down and talk to you and understand you like we're doing now, right?
Okay.
Because, I mean, this is my first interaction with you.
Yes, sir.
And you come in with some heat, right? But as an individual, I'm going to respect your approach because
I'm frustrated.
Yeah, I'm also frustrated too. But what I also see in my community is young people who cannot read. I also see young people, right? Hartford gets the brunt. Whenever something happens anywhere else, we get all the young people who come.
Yeah.
And they might not understand English. They might not understand these different things. They're not going to Farmington. They're not going to East Hartford. Well, some of them maybe, but so when we have these things, we take on the brunt of the responsibility. When you think of the issue of homelessness, homeless people aren't bumbling around Glastonbury.
They will be. Very soon. The new housing bill will afford them that.
Yeah. Like, and like I want us to share the responsibility, right? Because it's so easy to point the finger and say, man, those people in Hartford are horrible. But like you got one homeless shelter in your town. Mm-hmm. When people get dropped off from prison, they're not being dropped off in Marlboro. They're being dropped off in Hartford, right? When they need some place. So when you say those people are savages, we're mixed in with people who are just being dropped off, who don't live here.
Listen to me.
In our community. So I just want to.
I love you saying this.
AJ,
I love you saying this. By the way, if you're just joining us, we're here live with AJ Johnson, Reverend of the North Hartford Public Safety Coalition. Let me say this to you. The strife that you are talking about is 100% real. So I'm going to say something that no one has ever told the black community on this radio station. Mm-hmm. And I am not saying that you are speaking for all, but I know that in the city of Hartford, you are trying to speak for all. So let me be the first person to tell you.
I'm trying to organize.
I know you're trying to organize.
Okay, all right.
So let me help you by saying this. We can help you. And what I mean by that.
Who we? Well, tell me who we is.
Oh, dude, conservative Republicans can help you. Hold on, dude.
I'm listening.
I'm going to lay it down. I'm going to lay it down for you, right? Who's bringing these non-English speaking people into your communities? Who is exacerbating the homelessness and the violence and the poverty that is in your community? Your community hasn't voted for conservative or even voted for conservative values in over 60 years, if not longer. You have been doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, and we know that is the definition of insanity.
Yeah.
Okay? But the reason why you won't even hear us out is because it will be considered a cardinal sin for a black man. Because as soon as I walk up to Corey Betts today and I had this hat on, he said, nice hat. I said, don't lie to me, brother. You guys never, ever liked this hat. You don't like Reagan. You don't like conservatives. You don't like Republicans. You guys will sooner pull out your face than ever consider us as an option in your livelihood. If you ever thought about it, and I would just say this, give conservatism a chance. You really want to change Hartford? Listen to me. You now have an ally.
Yeah.
If you come to Reese on the radio, this community, and I'll tell you,
listen,
you know something that you talked about? You said you've seen white people who have been disrespectful or dismissive of you. I've seen the charity of this state that you wouldn't believe. I asked this community for stuff during the holiday season. They didn't take 30 minutes to reach out to people who need them in Hartford. Why? Because they want to help. Because guess what? They don't want to see the blight that is in that community either. They love this state as I love this state. And there's an opportunity to it, but you cannot close your fist or close your hand to them.
And we're having an open conversation, right?
Yes.
And I appreciate your approach. I also have to stand up for my brother Corey. Corey Betts is a good man. He's doing his best with the NAACP, the best of his ability. I got to say that about him. Now, it sounds like we're bringing in Republican versus Democrat into this.
Conservative.
So there's a difference. You're telling me between a conservative Republican and being a Republican?
Values. values.
So
I'm talking
hold on,
to you
this
about
is news
values.
to me today. So there's a difference between a conservative Republican and a Republican.
No, sir. There's a difference between conservatives. Like a Republican can be a Republican in name only. So a person can call himself a Republican and not understand the values. As a conservative, which I've been a conservative since I was 10 years old, before I could even vote. If I was a Democrat, I could. But if I was a conservative, right, what I believe is the right to life. I do not believe that we should abort our children. Our numbers, as far as African Americans, are dwindling while Hispanics are exploding. In 2000, it was the first year that we saw Hispanics outnumber African Americans 2-1. Do you want to know how that happened? Because we, as the smallest minority in the country, were a third of all abortions in the country because we lost our sense or our sanctity of life within our community. We lost God, we lost faith, and we lost family. And what I'm trying to do as a conservative is to reestablish those things and those ideas in the African American community. That is where the blight has happened.
Yeah. No, I hear you. And
I need to go. I'm going to go to a break. I apologize.
Well, No, you ain't about to go to a break
yes,
and
of course
then talk the whole time. No, you ain't going to do me like that, bro.
I do have to take a break, but I'll give you most of the time when we come back.
All right.
Stay
tuned. Stay tuned.
You got it. AJ Johnson, Reverend AJ Johnson is here. We'll be back. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center.
Stay locked in. Reese on the radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Let me tell you something, AJ. I'm going to say something to you that I knew, I had a feeling. People come on this program and you know what they say to me? They're like, you know what? I really, really like this show. I really, really hate saying this, but I really like you. I do. Even though we're completely on different sides of this, I really do.
I believe you're a child of God, and I believe all people are children of God.
I just got baptized on Sunday.
Did you really?
Yes, I did.
No lie.
Yeah, no
like
lie.
fully submerged.
Yeah, man.
Not the sprinkling.
No.
You went down.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you come up speaking in tongues?
Someone mentioned that to me. I did not. I've not shared that experience, but someone actually did speak in tongues to me. They prayed for me.
Good.
And did explain it to me because I didn't understand it when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And you know, as a child, as I said, the one thing about baptism for me is the same way I felt about the Rolling Stones. I was not mature enough to understand
what was going on.
Yeah, exactly.
Well said.
So that's kind of the way I looked at baptism. And now I'm old enough that I understand it, and I understand a lot more things because now I have the patience to, and I don't think everything is kind of corny.
Yeah.
So that's the brilliant part. But I really
congratulations,
do.
Though.
Thank you so much. But I'm learning a lot about you, even though I'm not gonna lie, a lot of stuff that you are talking about is same talking points I've heard since I was 10.
I understand.
And my argument has always been, Reverend, is that this antiquated way in which we are taught within the black community has served us no good. And I say myself as a member of the black community, my angle and my support. Look, I'm trying to free the slaves. I'm sorry that I got to put it that way. But the reason why I say it like that is because I see the mentality in Hartford. I listen. I talk to them. In the way in which they converse with me, I hear the slavery because they're still stuck in the same mindset that they have been taught by this liberal ideology.
Yeah.
That has kept them trapped.
Well, listen, I'm not about to let you talk the whole.
I know. I'm going to let you guys. You got a minute now. You got a minute.
I got a minute. So hear me out. Listen, I understand you're trying to free the slaves. I understand that Hartford is a place that, needs change and will continue to need change. Here's what I'm doing. I just want to share with you. I believe in the spirit of community organizing. We're raising up leaders. There's been a leadership vacuum in the city of Hartford.
Indeed.
And so I have committed my time to developing leadership cohorts for people who want to learn leadership, who want to understand what power is, right? How to navigate power and how to get power. That's one thing that I'm personally doing in the city of Hartford. Not only that, I'm going into these young people, right? I'm going into the young people. We just had a conversation around education, and why you believe people can't read. And I think we differ on perspective, but I certainly respect your thought and idea, and I think there can be some collaboration between the two thoughts.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is we do need better leadership, right? We need a fresh vision, and these are things that we are working on currently. Can there be a blend between the suburbs and conservatism and people? Like, I'm not going to get into that level of it, but I think there has to be. I think that the way that we've been running hasn't has worked in some ways and has failed in other ways. We have to be honest, and that's real. But I also think that there's a bridge that we can build, and that people have to be willing to have that conversation. That's why I came here. I don't have to. I
totally appreciate that.
I don't have to really know you to get to know you. And I came here to get to know you, and I see where you're coming from.
Thank you.
And I think you have valid ideas.
And you have not, in not one thing, you have not like sort of grimaced or freaked out. You have actually engaged me, and that's why I love the way we're having this conversation. I wish I wanted more with a lot of the leaders within the community. So I thank you for that. When we come back, I promise I will not dominate the conversation because I got a lot of stuff.
Stay tuned, y'all.
Reverend A.J. Johnson is here.
The NAACP calls him, whoa. I don't think I'm allowed to read this. It's Reese on the radio. Let's just say some people are not fans. On News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Man, this has now become the AJ Johnson show, y'all. Because this guy.
I told you.
Yeah.
I told you.
You something else, man.
That's what they tell me.
You something else.
They tell me.
Something else.
I liked. I'm a burn it down kind of guy because I need to get past the rhetoric and get the results. But you are that guy.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
And even though we don't agree, because I can disagree with you and still go.
You keep saying we don't agree. I just said
we don't agree. We're going to get to the bottom of it.
There's some collaboration. I'm about collaboration and partnership.
Oh, we're going.
I'm open to
AJ,
it.
Reverend. Let me call you Reverend. I
appreciate it.
Respect your moniker. Reverend, we're going to get together and we're going to make a lot of changes. I promise you. Because I do believe in you and your heart and what you're trying to do.
And I'm trying to get with what the program you got going on here. But I understand.
You're going to turn. Well, you already like this program. I know you do. Let me just say this to you real quick.
Yes, sir.
So the Stevie situation, I got to ask you this question because I don't know how much you know about Stevie, and I don't know anything about Stevie, but I'm sure you've met with his family and everything. Mm-hmm. And, with the situation that happened with Stevie, I had a couple of questions the other day on my show, and this is the way I laid it out, okay? Stevie, I don't know what his situation was, but I had some questions about the events as they took place. I noticed that there were a lot of people screaming his name during the video before police were calling him, so I'm assuming that the people in the neighborhood were familiar with him. If Stevie wasn't a threat, why didn't any of those individuals walk up to Stevie and take the knife? Second, does Stevie understand English? Because he was told, put down the knife, put down the knife, put down the knife. And lastly, does Stevie understand that he was holding a knife? Third.
All right, now let's stop. I can't do more than 3.
Okay, go for it.
All right, so slow it down. All right, so I'm going to try to wrap back. Your first question was
First question was, does Stevie speak English?
As far as I understand, Stevie did speak English.
Okay.
Now, to the point of who... So when we knocked on doors this weekend, right, again, we gathered over 25 people. We knocked on doors, and the overwhelming sense about Stevie Jones is that he was a pretty cool, laid-back person who had mental health issues.
Sure.
Right? And, that is a common thing, right? I've worked in mental health, right? I've worked for organizations with people like Stevie. Mm-hmm. And, when folks miss their medications, when folks, again, we're thinking about Hartford. Ask your town how many other towns host as many group homes and recovery homes in their towns at the rate that Hartford does. Like first, before any conversations happen around why he was doing what he's doing, ask why is that not happening in your community? Because it's not a thing.
Okay.
There's some, right? But we host the majority of them. So in our neighborhoods, there are a lot of Stevies walking around that are unmedicated, that have missed their medications.
But they speak English.
But they speak English.
So they do understand instruction is what I'm saying.
But see, understanding instruction when you're in a mental health crisis, like Stevie, from what I saw in that video, I believe Stevie did the best that he can do with what he had, with whatever condition he had. Up until that officer showed up, he was.
Let's get beyond the officer.
No, you ain't gonna do that.
No, the officer is a result of my other questions.
I got you, but I want to be clear on my perspective, right?
Go ahead.
He was compliant up into that point. Up until that officer showed up.
Did he put down the knife?
He did not put down a knife.
That's not compliant then.
Well, listen, you're dealing with a mental health. You're dealing with someone in a crisis.
Reverend, that is the reason why. But Reverend,
you're
that's
not
the reason
dealing
why.
with a person who just had a bad day.
Reverend, that's the reason why I'm asking the question.
Yeah.
He understands English. He's having a mental health issue. He is told
Let that lead the conversation.
No. But let's. Yeah. I'll leave it. I'll lead it.
Yeah.
But my bottom line is that. Take the police officer out of the equation. There are neighbors who knew him, calling him Stevie by his nickname, so I'm assuming they know him better than the officers do. They are the ones screaming, Stevie dropped the knife. Now, I asked the question, if people thought that Stevie was safe, right? In fact, I don't want to bring him into it or ask you to sort of vouch for him, but the head of the Black Lives Matter 860, his name is King, had mentioned something during one of the rallies. He was like, we need to be able as a community to walk up to the people who we know are struggling and be able to say, hey, officer, it's okay, I got this. So I applied it to the Stevie situation. Why didn't any of the neighbors who knew Stevie, who say he was no threat, why wouldn't they walk up to him? Why? Because the obvious answer is there. He was a threat, and nobody trusted Stevie with that knife.
Well, I think that's, again, I can't speak on those things because I personally wasn't there. And two,
But you spoke on watching the video.
Yeah, I spoke on watching the video, and I can give you my perspective and my what I saw.
Limited in scope.
Right, my limited. So what I saw was the community doing exactly what we want community to do.
Scream and say Stevie dropped the knife.
Well, be peacemakers.
Okay.
Right? That those people in that video should be celebrated. They should get the what did Trump give the USA the medal of
yeah.
They deserve that medal, man, because in our community it is very rare where you have peacemakers, and this is Hartford isn't as broken as we think, right?
I don't think that they are either.
These people knew the person. When we were there today, there was a guy who came up and said, man, I used to give chips and juice, and when the brother needed it, I would always help Stevie out, right? He had a community around him, but once the police were involved, have you ever involved in the police?
Several.
No, have you ever legit tried to I don't know the proper
terminology.
No, not intervene.
Engage with the police
officer?
officer?
No, not engage. When you are, it's an active police scene and you've breached the police scene. It's called what?
When you breach, that would be interfering. Interfering with a police action.
Interfering with a police action.
Yeah.
And what I assume,
I'm sorry, it just brought me to the people that was in Minnesota. But go ahead.
What I assume is that I don't believe the folks wanted to interfere when the police were there, but they did
because they were fearful.
They not fearful because of the police.
Fearful
not fearful because of Stevie.
Right. Fearful
if I had a perspective, they might have been fearful from the police and interfering in a police situation. But everybody in that situation, in that community, did what that we would want any community to do.
No, and I appreciate them. I'm not
and de-escalate the situation, and it almost worked.
Listen, I am not in any way trying to admonish the community that was screaming and hollering. What I'm saying is I noticed that no one jumped in. They're all saying that Stevie was harmless, but nobody.
I'm going to say they didn't jump in because the police were there.
I understand it, but if Stevie is harmless and you can intervene, like if Stevie was just walking around. And you can walk up. If I trusted Stevie that he was not going to harm anyone, I would have if I knew Stevie and I know that he doesn't do any harm, I would have probably walked up to Stevie and said, "Stevie, come on, put down the knife. The officers are going to shoot you if you don't." You see him; he's got the gun up.
And they did, but everybody stayed back.
Yes, they
everybody
did.
Stayed
that's
back.
another thing. Like I said,
you get what I'm saying?
I'm not putting the onus on them, though, Reverend.
And once an authority shows up and says, "Stay back,"
understood.
Anybody who breaches that is going to have a legal problem that they didn't walk in there with.
Now, second thing is Stevie, because I know you don't know him personally,
I don't.
But I think the argument must be made, and this is the argument that I made, does Stevie not understand that when a gun is pointed at him, that it's a dangerous situation?
Again, when we have people with mental health, in my neighborhood of Blue Hills, I can count maybe 3-4 mental health facilities, including Mount Sinai.
But we have to
in my community, and these people walk up and down the street
we have
every
to ask
day.
The question of his family. Second, in fact, I'm going fourth now. Fourth question: how did Stevie, or how is it that Stevie obtained a knife in that home? Because guess what? There is a legal.
What home doesn't have knives?
If Stevie is a dangerous person when he's off his medication, and they are familiar with that, the family can be, and in my view, should be sued that they would allow a deadly weapon in his possession.
And I'm sorry to laugh, but have you ever dealt with people with, like, do you have family members that have mental health issues? And the care that it takes to take care of that person?
We have a precedent here in Connecticut that says if your child brings a gun to school and uses it in the classroom, that the parents and the gun maker are held responsible.
I hear that, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about a sister who is taking care of her brother. Now, now think about it. What's the median income in Fairfield County?
What does the income have to do with anything?
Economics.
I don't know.
Why is there even a Glastonbury?
Wait. Are you saying that economics plays a role in judgment?
Well, I'm saying to you that I can only imagine that his sister is struggling to work and taking care of her brother.
Okay.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
That may be true.
But that's the perspective I see. So if you're telling me,
but I don't care about that if it's not evidence.
Is taking care of her brother, because she has publicly said that, I take care of my brother.
Yes.
And anybody that's listening to this show who has ever taken care of another human being, knowing that that's stressful. You can't Is it unfair to ask his sister whether or not it was appropriate for Stevie to be near or around knives? I think it is inappropriate because, again,
why?
If you're not going to go in that home and help her take care of her brother, then you need to stay out
he
that
is
house.
A public listening.
No.
Let me explain to you why. Let me explain to you why. Okay, and the reason why I'm asking the question, I'm saying this is a legitimate question. Okay, when Stevie gets the knife and he walks outside of his door, there is no police outside waiting for him. He is outside with the knife before police arrives. Police gets called after he's outside. At that point, Stevie is a public menace, because neighbors are walking through. Imagine he had walked by another individual with that knife and he end up injuring a neighbor. See, people keep looking at this as though Stevie left the house with a knife. Police officers showed up. There is a time in between that in which Stevie is a danger to society.
I'm assuming you watched the body cam footage.
Yes, of course I did.
And you watched from when the officer showed up.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
To when he came down those stairs.
Yes.
Right? So again, there's only two perspectives I've seen. I've seen the officer cam, and I've seen a Facebook video of the incident happening in live time.
Okay.
Right? And so those two perspectives are different. Again, I can't judge if Stevie was a
public nuisance
or
public
nuisance or anything like that, because he lived there. And again, just as of today, folks who I talked to in the corner store helped him all the time.
I know.
So, again, this seems to be a moment, right? But we can't make this moment other than what it really is. And it's about mental health in our community. It's about mental health in our community. When I go home today, I don't know about when you go home, but when I go home today, I'm going to drive past 7, 10 Stevies.
I'm sure you will. I'm sure I will.
10, I don't want to ask where you live, but that's none of my business.
I live here.
You live in Farmington?
Yeah.
Oh, you must be driving past like fully medicated, fully insured, have everything they need.
That
Stevie.
kind of.
That's all I'm saying.
Listen to me.
I am driving past people who are coming back from Capital Region mental health.
AJ, hold on for a second. See, this is where, Reverend, this is where you and I are always going to find this divide. Mm-hmm. There is a degree of projection and in some ways casting aspersion on communities because of their wealth to then decide that they do not either experience or even care about what's going on in your community. Well, in order to bridge that divide, you can't assume what it is that people are going through because they're in a wealthy neighborhood. That seems
Why can I assume when you assume that apathy. Because I'm in a poor neighborhood, you call it ghetto?
No. Well, it
Every person who lives in a ghetto is not ghetto. No. I live in Hartford and I'm not ghetto.
I called it a ghetto. Right? And I always will. I'm not calling the individuals. I call the savages who commit savage things. I don't say that the individuals who live there who are innocent by law-abiding citizens savage. I mean anyone who would shoot a gun.
I appreciate that clarification.
Of course. But Fair. The apathy that you're showing to people is like, I don't live in Farmington. I don't live in it. No. In order for you to bridge that divide, you have got to coalesce with those individuals who can help. By dividing them by saying, well, they're rich and they don't care, doesn't help you.
No. If people of wealth wanted to help, they would. And I'm sure they have in some capacities. But what I'm saying is Hartford, Bridgeport, Waterbury, and New Haven are what they are because of the suburbs that thrive around them. When I served on the school board, and again, this is going back to the conversation of economics, because economics is
plays a key role.
It plays a key role. When I served on the Board of Education, right, when I looked at our structure and how young people are getting served in other towns, our grand list is ridiculous. Those housing taxes and so forth, you know, in Avon, Simsbury, they float their whole budget in their communities, right? So if if they want better lunch or better buses or better opportunity or better sports programs,
they fight for it.
No, they don't fight for it. Their taxes determine what the outcome of that is. And what I'm saying to you is, in Hartford,
I feel bad because I know you got to go, but I want to keep you.
Well, you got to bring me back. That's all. You just
I want to
keep
you. Listen, I want to keep you longer, but you do have to come back because it's going on 5, and you do.
I got to
have to go.
Yeah.
Okay. You are invited whenever you want.
Thank you.
Here's the reason why you're invited whenever you want. Because this is a discussion that cannot happen in an hour and 2 or 3 talk breaks. We have a lot of things to discuss. But I need you to give me your trust in a sense of, like, I'm trusting you with what you know. I need you to trust me with what I know, because I think the both of us can understand what each other wants.
Yeah.
And because what I want is for that city to be prosperous.
Yeah.
And I think that
and
we
what
can
I
get
want
there.
is your community and your listeners to understand that we're not wicked, bad, ghetto,
we don't
ignorant.
Believe that. We don't believe that.
Uneducated,
we don't
unorganized, poor. We're dealing.
We think you're Democrats, sir.
Chill. You gotta fall back from that.
We gotta go. Listen, we gotta go to West. We gotta go anyway. Hey, Reverend, thank you so much, Reverend A.J. Johnson. We're gonna have him back. Mark Christopher, he's in the VPS Lawyers Traffic Center. You got it, man.
The hour that packs a punch. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Of course, we'll take your phone calls if you have something to say about the interview with Reverend A.J. Johnson and of anything else we talked about on the program. We have got to have him back. Even he said, it was like, there's no way we were going to get everything we wanted out in this interview, but he was good. Somebody wrote on here real quick before we get into music news. He says that conversation was nothing but a lot of backslapping. Oh, Mark, well, thank you. I appreciate that. That's what it was, huh? Okay. News. Happy birthday goes to Liza Minnelli. Isn't she gone? She turns 80. I thought Liza Minnelli was gone. Liza Minnelli's not still alive, is she? I don't think that's right. James Taylor turns 78 years old. And Pete Doherty, who's the front man behind a group Libertines, also has a birthday today, turns 47. Velvet Underground and Nico, their debut album, is 59 years old today. It came out in 1967. U2's 43rd anniversary of War is today. Billy Joel's Glass Houses turns 46. Remember, he had the #1 single, It's Still Rock and Roll to Me. Celine Dion's Falling Into You album celebrates its 30th anniversary, her biggest selling album ever. And that's the one that has that song, It's All Coming Back to Me Now. The only reason why I know this is because Roseanne sings it a lot. And I don't know what this is. Love, the self-titled debut of Love, celebrates its 60th anniversary, which is early psychedelic music. This is actually interesting, and I call it the Rick Astley disease. He celebrates 38 years from the date of Never Gonna Give You Up, the #1 single hit #1 on this date in 1988. Rick Astley disease is what I say when one person sounds like another person. Like Rick Astley sounds like a white guy trying to sound like a white guy singing, and Hootie from Hootie and the Blowfish sounds like a black guy sounding like a white guy trying to sound like a black guy.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, guys, we are back. Let me grab a couple of these phones real quick. Steve has been on for a while. Let's go to Steve in Andover. How are you, Steve?
Hey, good afternoon.
What's up, man?
Well, a couple things. The Reverend I want to address, but I want to talk earlier when you were talking earlier about the shootings and stuff.
Yeah.
So something I kind of noticed about yesterday. There were 4 hearings at the Capitol yesterday.
Yes.
Okay. All of which resonated hugely with conservatives.
Yes.
You had two violations of the Second Amendment. You had a violation of the Fourth Amendment. And you have a violation of a combination of the First and Fourth Amendment.
Yeah.
All of those things, though, were brought up on the same day. I think that was done on purpose. Here's my conspiracy mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Because it splits the amount of conservatives who can speak out and who can appear to give vocal testimony.
Absolutely. You are not alone.
Okay, everybody can do written testimony. I get it. I mean, I submitted my own written testimony. But when I stopped and thought about it afterwards, I was like, holy cow, there are 4 bills here that crush, the Bill of Rights for people in Connecticut in multiple ways, and yet they put them all on the same day, and that basically splits everybody.
Right.
And I don't think that was by accident. I think that was by design.
I will tell you, one, you're 100% right. You're not the only person to bring it up. In fact, one of the people who spoke via Zoom at the hearing brought this up. He was one of the people who gave the testimony and said he was absolutely appalled the fact that they would set up these hearings the way they did to sort of cancel each other out. But I got to be honest with you, having been there, I don't think that worked, because there were 2,000 people who showed up, at least the estimation that they gave from the Hartford Courant and WTNH. They sort of coincided with the amount of people. And then being there physically, I think that everyone showed up there sort of in unity against every one of those bills that were in there. I think the presence was huge. That, again, does not dismantle your theory here, because I think you're 100% right. It sort of shows that, oh, look, the conservatives really didn't care about it. But the other part that I think sort of was kind of their undoing was the fact that all 4 of these bills really got the attention of the Hartford news media as well.
Yeah, true, because most of the time 2A bills don't mean anything in Connecticut. It's a rubber stamp process ever since Sandy Hook, where another example of what I'm going to talk about next.
Yes, sir.
Where we should bring back, Norwich Hospital, Cedar Crest, Elmcrest. The state should bring back lockdown facilities. So that Stevie guy would still be alive. You know what I mean? Based on everything I've heard and what I've seen, if we had lockdown facilities that would take people for long term.
And stop releasing dangerous ones, like we got the cannibal that was just released in the Middletown. That's...
Well, I was going to, I didn't know about, I was going to bring up the 1989 case where the guy was released from Whiting and he stabbed that little girl right on Main Street, Middletown.
Exactly.
At a street there.
Yep.
So when the Reverend, and I'm going to come out and say this, so the Reverend is an apologist for bad behavior. You could listen to him. He's not open-minded. He wants to defend everything in his neighborhood, and maybe that's admirable in some ways, but he definitely needs to open his mind to the other possibilities that maybe, Stevie is a danger. And guess what? You don't approach somebody with a knife. And your point, which you continuously tried to hammer home and he wanted to ignore, none of the neighbors who knew him personally were going to go out and try and take that big knife from that guy. They just weren't going to do it because they knew that what was going to be the outcome of that. You know what I mean?
Right. It was a dangerous situation. They have to accept that it was a dangerous enough situation that none of them could intervene.
Right. But again, if we're back to if we had lockdown facilities where people were put in for, because you and I have talked about this on this program before. There are people who should not be walking our streets. And I get it. I don't know what the process would be. It's a Fourth Amendment violation. You're going to have to see somebody. But they forfeited their ability to function in society openly. And I get this. This is a backlash to everything that happened in the 50s and the 60s and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and all the rest of that stuff where we saw the horrors and the atrocities of it. But you know what? The pendulum has now swung so far the other way that we've got to come back to the middle somewhere, and that has to involve brick-and-mortar buildings where people are institutionalized. Like it or not, it has to be that way.
You know what, Steve? Let me say this to you. releasing folks or keeping people out of these mental facilities is sort of like what we say about funerals being for the living, right? We want these people in society to appease the good nature of the marginally psychotic, because that's what it is. It's like the person who is clearly needs mental health facilities in order to maintain. Instead of getting that person the care that they need, we are appeasing a bunch of people who feel sorry for those folks who have to be in a mental facility. It's never about what's in their best interest. It's the best interest or the self-interest of people who are advocates for those individuals. I think it's cruel to lock them up. So in essence, you're saying that we should release them because you feel bad about it, not about whether or not he's a danger to himself and the society. And we made a decision. I think our society made a decision. Let's appease the rabble-rousers. Let's appease the advocates and not do what's right or necessary. And we've got to return to what's necessary.
It's malignant virtue signaling is what it ends up being.
There it is, exactly. Thank you, man. I appreciate you, Steve. Thanks for holding. Let's go to Mark in Windsor. Hello, Mark.
Hey, Reese. Good topic.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, greetings to all the men and women listeners out there. One question for us is, has anyone received and read a toxicology report for either one of these men that were shot and killed?
Good point. And I've not heard one released.
Because, what I find with politicians and certain race hustlers is they like to mask things under the victimhood. Mm-hmm. And so this, I'm not saying that either one of these guys did not have a mental health disorder. Mm-hmm. However, were these guys on drugs?
Right. I would make the argument because what's being said from everyone I've heard in both cases, Walker's and Jones, is that both of them were not taking or had not taken their medication, which for me raises red flags. How often has that happened?
And if they're not taking their medication, what were they taking? If they were taking, they taking some other street drugs? Right. I don't want if either one of these guys had a drug problem, I don't think it should be masked behind disguised with it was mental health. Yeah. Right, because it may have been a situation where their mind could have been altered by said drug, putting themselves in a dangerous position. Many people were talking in the beginning, Mark, you might remember this. Many people said that Stevie was behaving in a suicide by cop sort of manner. Mm-hmm. So mm-hmm. I think that's something to consider, if not investigate. Well, the video illustrates that. Yeah, I thought so too. We don't need some letters to tell us that. The other thing is, Stevie was advancing. Both of those guys, Walker and Stevie, both were advancing towards the cop. Yeah. Okay. One, Stevie was advancing towards the cop. He closed the gap between he and the cop that shot him. Yeah. He was a threat. Right. And the other thing is, okay, let's take this cop, let's take the uniform off the cop. Right. Let's pretend that it's John Reese that's standing there on the street, and Stevie, this large man with a large knife, is approaching John Reese. Yeah. John Reese would probably shoot Stevie. Yeah. Given those same circumstances. Yeah. I mean, you beg and plead for a moment, but when it comes down to it, one of us is going to walk away. Yeah, somebody's, and again, I meant to ask this to the Reverend because I thought it was a legitimate question when I was giving my monologue about this about a week ago. I said, what was the police officer supposed to do? Were they supposed to wait until Stevie tuckered out and got tired of walking around with the knife and decided to take a nap? Like, what would have been, if you were to ask these people, what would have been an acceptable way to de-escalate this? Outside of, you use a taser, you say drop the knife, he refuses, he continues to advance. Should we just keep circling the block until he decides he's had enough? not just that, or when you can talk. That talk therapy only works if the other person is talking.
Indeed,
if they're de-escalating.
Indeed.
But Stevie turned to action. He was walking, he was advancing and closing the gap towards the cop.
And changing, and that was the other thing, Mark, is a good point in that video, is that he does change directions. I talked to a police officer, a veteran police officer, and I thought this was interesting the way he laid it out. And this is, again, his perspective after watching the video hundreds of times, as he's made to. He said what was interesting was that when he saw the shooting officer approach, Stevie makes a beeline for him because, in his view, as an officer, this gives the officer the impression Stevie must know that this officer is going to take action, so he made a beeline for him. That's the way that he viewed it. Is that because the other officers he's walking by, and the other officers still have their hands on their gun on the holster. They have not, they've not pulled out their gun at any time, and he's kind of walking up to them. When this officer advances and shows up on the scene and then pulls out his gun, Stevie makes a beeline for him, which again gives the impression. Again, I'm just looking at it sort of as a novice.
By suicide.
Yeah.
I see the same thing. However, and listen, all these facilities, the politicians, these facilities are expensive.
Yeah. That's right. Who's paying for them?
They spend a lot of money on overtime, and before even after the regular salaries.
Mm-hmm.
Police, Whiting Lane institutions. All of these facilities are expensive, and the public wants. We want lower taxes. We want a better accountability with our fiscal management. And one of the things politicians do is they cut stuff like that.
Yeah, indeed they do.
We need to bring it back. We need to, we need more of that.
Yeah.
But
especially if it's an epidemic, right? Especially if it's what everyone else is telling us that we even Reverend AJ, he said that we're seeing an epidemic of people who are expressing or showing these mental health issues. Obviously, this is something we need to put some resources towards.
Mental health, I'm not sold on that one. Like I said, where's the toxicology report?
Yeah.
What the biggest problem in the city of Hartford has, one of the biggest problems that the city of Hartford has, and the other inner cities in Connecticut, is fatherlessness and drugs.
Yep.
Drug abuse, illegal drugs.
100% correct.
All of these crimes, I would argue, violent crimes especially, but the snatch and grabs, the robberies, the carjackings,
yeah.
Somewhere there's drugs involved. The other thing is you kind of missed, I believe you were out of town, you missed the rash of these young people, the younger people, doing all these carjackings in the neighborhoods and stuff. Your same politicians that are in that governor's office now, and the least two favorite senators in the country, they run to Texas, pumping their arms for shooters down there, and they're here in Connecticut making sure that these carjackers, these young dudes are getting out of jail or not going to getting arrested, and they're still in cars and shooting people, but they want them to stay free because they happen to be under 22.
Yeah.
No. You commit that adult crime.
Yeah.
Listen, brother, you gonna sit and you need to now answer for that adult time.
Exactly.
Those are some of the problems.
Yeah. And, Mark, I gotta wrap her up, but thank you as always, sir. You're always a compelling man. Thank you. We do have to take a break. We'll come back. We'll take the rest of your phone calls if you wish to call in. It's 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. I'll read some of the comments in the chat room as well. Mark Christopher is getting you home. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center.
The Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed from WTIC News Talk 1080. Download the free Odyssey app, search WTIC News Talk 1080, and tap earlier today to get started.
I cannot believe this. I was leaving the house yesterday, maybe even the day before, and I still have mountains of snow everywhere. And I just said to myself, snow? Are you going to be here well into April? And Roseanne looked at me and said, the snow is not going to answer you. She said, what? No, all the snow is melting. I'm like, no, there's still mountains everywhere. The snow is going to be here till April. The snow has been here since we moved here. on New Year's. It has been everywhere. It snowed on the day we moved in. The snow is still on the ground. I've never seen a day where the snow isn't melted or completely gone. It's just more and more snow. And then I get this alert on my phone, and it says, snow is expected again. And I'm like, why? Why? You wouldn't give me floods. I wanted floods. When the snow melted and we had that 70-degree temperature, it was beautiful. It was gorgeous. But I wanted floods. I wanted Noah's Ark-like floods all through the cities and towns, especially down the hill on Route 6. I was just looking for just everywhere, just floods of water. People couldn't get to work. Seeing people just floating away on tubes and stuff. I wanted it all, but it wouldn't happen. It was just streams of water. And now we're looking, it's going to snow again. Can we just stop with the snow? Can this be the last one? That's it. They say it's only going to snow for about an hour and a half, but I'm done. I'm over it. It was nice. Okay? I want to get to spring. I really, really want to get back to spring. Can we do that? Just a little bit. I was driving the other day with my window open. Didn't have the heat on. And I was playing Michael McDonald and Kenny Loggins records. It was the best. It was absolutely beautiful. I even played a little bit of Toto. I felt free. I felt free. And now it's going to snow again. John Beckman says it's 81 and sunny in Las Vegas. I hate you, John Beckman. We all hate you. Just letting you know right now. Everyone, say it with me. We hate you, John Beckman. Don't rub it in, you cretin. No one cares how warm it is in Las Vegas. It's just awful. Isn't it cold outside, too? I was out there in Hartford. It's freezing. Maybe they need to move that saying up here. If you don't like the weather in Connecticut, wait a minute. What's up, everybody? You know who it is.
You know who it is. You know who it is.
It's Reese on the radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, we are back. Reese on the radio, and it was an eventful day today, this Thursday. And I loved sharing it with you. I hope you folks enjoyed the show and were somewhat entertained, enlightened, and informed with a lot of stuff that's going on in our world today. We just heard that one of the shooters yelled Allahu Akbar. We'll see how that spun. I'll have a good time watching that tonight on the news. I've got to figure out something to do after work. Roland, I know you go bowling. That's your thing. But I don't really know what to do after work. Most guys, I don't drink anymore, so I would, back in the day afterwards, I go to the bar, go hang out. I was like, play pool and, joke. I need something else to do. Is there maybe, that's what I'll do. I will take my wife out to a coffee shop. Yeah, take her to a coffee shop and then just sit together. There's a coffee place that she likes that's not too far from the house. I don't know if they're open that late, but you know what? I'll take her out for a coffee. We can sit down and just talk, communicate, sort of people watch. We haven't done that in a while. We used to do that a lot. That's what I'll do. Yeah, I'll surprise her. Just grab her up and say, hey, come on, throw on some shoes, a nice warm coat. Let's go out for coffee like we did on our 5th date. Something like that, whatever. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll do that. 860-522-WTIC. Let's go to my buddy Jared. How we doing, buddy?
Hey, how's it going?
What's up?
Yeah, it sounds like Sleepless in Seattle over here after work. What are we doing here? Why don't you go hit some golf balls or something? What are we doing?
I don't do you know what? It's funny that you say that. the last time I did sort of the exercise of going out hitting some golf balls, like doing like Top Golf or even just a regular driving range, my frustration out there, if the ball doesn't go on, I always pull my back because I'm so tense. It's not a relaxing sport to me. Even though I love golf, it's not relaxing for me.
It's nice. Sometimes you go play 9 later in the afternoon, nobody's there. It's nice, even if the ball's all over the place.
You know what I will do? You know what I will do when it gets warmer? I will play some par 3 golf. I know there's a par 3 golf course here in Connecticut because the first one I'd ever seen was here.
I think they got that nice driving range in Farmington too, don't they?
Yes, they do. But I want to play some. I'll play some 3 par golf definitely because that's a lot of fun and you don't pull your back out too much on that.
There you go. What did I call? I got to remember. Oh, I called back and forth of the Reverend.
Reverend AJ.
Yes, I thought it was great that you had him on. I just think that he is right about the bridge too far. He came on the show, which was great, and it sounds like they want help, and he's willing to understand. But there's a lot of onions to pull back.
Yes,
there's got to be a willing to, you're trying to help and you're trying to give. There's a reason why things are the way they are in these communities.
Yeah. Well, he has been under this impression that there is not just a divide between the inner city and the suburbs. He believes there's an apathy between the two. He sees the suburbs as some people who are against him, and therefore he has this sort of apathy towards them because he believes that. So his own worldview has skewed his view of the suburbs around it.
That's exactly right.
And he's been led to believe that they are working against his inner city. So therefore it's a blame game. It's their fault that my city is worse or that my city is starving. And that's
you can see that.
Yeah, exactly.
When you said conservative, and you didn't know the difference between the conservative and a Republican, he kind of just joined the two. When you said conservative, he automatically thought of the suburbs.
Yep, and again,
automatically went right there.
But you know what? I will tell you this, and this is really why I liked him. And I've said this before on the show. What he did in that moment when he realized, oh, okay, those are two different things. He said, okay, that's the first time I'm ever learning that.
Right.
And that, to me, talk about a door opening. Because it's like... Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, you're planting a seed. You just planted a seed in his head.
Exactly. And then afterwards, when we left and we were sort of communicating during the commercial break, even he was saying, he was like, you know what? I see where you're coming from now. He's look, I may not agree with it, but you know what? I do have to admit, we probably have been going about this or banging our heads at the same ideas over and over again. It may be due course that we look at a course correction.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
I was watching the interview on YouTube when you guys were off here. I was watching the exchange, and I didn't have to listen to any of the words. I could see how he was interested in what you were saying, but there was something holding him back a little bit.
Yes.
It was buzzwords.
He mentioned it off the air, Jared. He said, I'm not going to lie. I'm probably going to get a lot of hell. But you know what? I'm trying to save lives. And that's
good.
Jared, you listened to this show a long time. What do I say? These people are going to hate me. But at the end result, if I'm saving lives, that's what it's worth. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely.
Thank you, man.
It was a nice exchange. I enjoyed it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you, buddy. Steven is in Waterbury. Let's get to that one. There it is. Hey, Steven.
Hey, Reese. Did you mention the band Toto?
Yes, I mentioned the band Toto.
Okay. All I can say is stop your mind about the snow and cold weather. That goes for your little dog, too. You were in, what was it?
How did I not see that one coming? When I was a kid, by the way, Toto was a weird group that none of my friends liked until I introduced them to it. And when because they didn't know. Here's the crazy part. I just learned this. There's a song called Georgie Porgy that we used to listen to, 98.7 KISS in New York. This song was very, very popular. It was made into a hip-hop song by MC Lyte with the same name. And I listened to that song growing up my entire life. Remember I mentioned yesterday that documentary called Yacht Rock? I watched the documentary. That was the first.
I didn't get to the show until later.
Okay, well, yesterday I was talking about this documentary on Prime called Yacht Rock, and guess what? That was the first time I had ever learned that song is by Toto. And I loved that song growing up.
Awesome. Hey, you may want to take like a Bible study, after work sometime or whatever.
Yeah, what do you got?
Golf when the weather gets better. I'll just throw some things out. But hey, I do have another mentalist thing that will really probably blow your mind. You want to go through it?
Real quick.
Okay. Pick a number between 2 and 10.
Oh, goodness gracious. 6.
Wait, no, don't tell me.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll pick another one. Got it. Okay, fine.
Okay, multiply it by 9.
I have to, hold on. I think I got it right. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, then separate the two numbers and add them together. So, like, they have 38 if you like the left. You follow me?
Add them together? Okay.
Yep, okay. Now, I want you to subtract 5 from it.
Okay, that would be, and to subtract 5? Okay, I got it.
Okay. So now take the letter of the alphabet that corresponds. A would be 1, B would be 2, so whatever that is.
Oh, okay, the letter. Okay, so this would be. I don't remember. Hold on. It's too confusing over the thing. I'm going to mess it up. I will do it. You know what? We'll do it next time. I promise. We'll get it right because I'm too confused now. It's just
not a problem.
All right. Thank you, buddy. Let me get this last. I want to grab these guys real quick. Fred is in Middletown, the poet laureate of the Reese on the Radio Show. What's up, buddy?
I have a poem. It's called Hold the Presses. Hark, did I not hear a dog bark? That's right. And as Holmes might say to Watson, that's queer. Because after all, there has been a homicide here. 9 shots fired by the 4th man to appear. Not moving fast, but he had a big knife and may have been hallucinating that the cops were a big piece of cake. In which case, shooting him may or may not have been a mistake. Just curious, what kind of pharma product was he on that he did or did not take? Thank you.
Not bad, poet laureate. Good hearing from you, Fred.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hope you're doing well. Last but not least, Mike in Newington is on the line. What's up, buddy?
Hey, how you doing, brother?
What's up?
Hey, listen, I don't know. I just caught a guy talking about Toto. You are aware that they're some of the founding members are right from Connecticut, right?
I did not know that. They are from Connecticut. I really thought they were part of the L.A. scene.
No, they went out there, and if you look on, like, Wikipedia, they'll say they're from California like they do with a lot of people.
Really?
I think it's the Picaro brothers.
Yes.
I think it's Steve, Jeff. They're from Weathersfield.
It's 3 of them, right? The 3 Picaro brothers, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the interesting. Oh, they're from Weathersfield. Okay, I'm going to look that up, and I'm not going to lie. I watched that documentary, and it's all I've been listening to is Yacht Rock right now.
It's funny. It's funny you say that because I've been meaning to watch that. Over the summer last year, I saw the band that tours called Yacht Rock. They opened up for REO Speedwagon and Strained at the Meadows in Hartford.
Which one are they? Is it called Yachtly Crew?
No, they were just called Yacht Rock.
Oh, they were just called Yacht Rock. Okay, I didn't know that because there. Apparently, there are a whole bunch of tribute bands with different yacht rock type names. The ones that are featured in the documentary are called Yachtly Crew, which I thought was funny, and they're all wearing like Captain Stubing outfits.
Captain and Tennille hat.
Yeah. Well, no, the fans wear the Captain and Tennille hat, but the band they're in absolute like sailor regalia. It's the most amazing thing.
Hey, one other thing about Toto, they were in their early years, the musicians in that band were session musicians for Boss Skaggs.
Yes, I know all of that is in the documentary, and it's so crazy because they do this weird graph of all of the like from Steely Dan and how they sort of farm off to all of these albums and all of these singers. And, Michael McDonald is kind of the nucleus Kenny Loggins as well, but they're sort of the nucleus in all of this. You got to see the documentary. It's fantastic. I really had a good time watching it.
Can I get 30 more seconds about another music topic?
Real quick.
Okay, real quick. It was about a month and a half ago. I was blown away. I couldn't get to a phone to call you that day. I've been meaning to call you when you mentioned how you stopped watching the Grammys. And, oh, my God, I couldn't believe you said this because of when Eric Clapton won it from Tears from Heaven. I'm going to tell you something. I would get in arguments with my friends because I used to say, Eric Clapton's a great guitar player, but I always thought he was kind of overrated. I said, when they gave him that award, I get it. They gave it to him because they felt bad because his son got killed. But when they did that, they took away from the other songs that were competing with that song.
100%. And that woman that I was talking about, that woman literally slammed her martini drink on the bar and wanted to fight me because I said it.
Oh, my God.
But it's true. Thank you, man. I appreciate you, man. I lost it. I was so sick and tired of it. And I'm telling my friend Glenn about that. I was like, that's the whole reason why I did. That woman said, "How dare you?" She must, I don't know. The whole time she was freaking out. In my head, you know what I was saying? I was going, cocaine. She don't like. Jane is in Bloomfield. Hi, Jane.
This is Stalker Jane.
Oh, that's right, Stalker. Well, I've got less than a minute. What do you got, Jane?
I wanted to tell you. You know, my friend Phyllis said she talked with you on the phone.
Yes, she did. She actually did. I saw her phone, her number ringing up on the screen, but we couldn't get to it. She hung up before we got to her.
Because she's related to Toto.
No, she's not.
She is. If that's her calling today, you've got to talk to her, honey.
Well, I definitely will. In fact, tell her to call tomorrow. I'll be happy to take her call about Toto. They're one of my favorite groups growing up as a kid.
I know. I love it. When you were talking about Toto, I dropped everything and I said, I got to call you. Oh, my God. I'm sure she's listening. So.
Well, Phyllis, definitely call me tomorrow. I promise as soon as I see your number, I will take the call. Thank you, Jane. God love you. I love you, too.
Love you, too, honey. Bye.
Bye. Jane is very, very energetic. Absolutely. Probably the most energetic person I've ever met who listens to this program. Nothing against a lot of you, but she's a spitfire, and she's always fun to be around. Toto got their name from a mix of practical artists and whimsical reasons. Drummer Jeff Porcaro wrote Toto on a demo tape to identify them, inspired by The Wizard of Oz. Bassist Dave Hungate later connected it to the Latin word in toto, all-encompassing, reflecting the band's diverse musical skills. Not bad, Stevie V. Not bad. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your mind. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. I'm Reese on the radio. You have a good night and a pleasant tomorrow. We'll see you back here tomorrow at 2 p.m. Mark Christopher.